I want to talk to you about Moneris, and I want to review this payment processor. And the question is the company really worth it this year? Let's talk about that. So here's a prologue that I really want you to pay attention to. Let me first define what Moneris really is. So Moneris is actually a Canadian payment processor, an acquirer that is based in Toronto, and they actually they serve customers in the U.S. but also in Canada. So they are actually present across the border. Okay, and so being a payment processor and acquirer means that Moneris actually sells payment processing directly to merchants, underwrites its business to provide credit, and builds technology for credit card and debit card processing, actually in the States, but also in Canada. So this is kind of important. Now, Moneris was founded in 2000 as a 50-50 joint venture between RBC, the Royal Bank of Canada, and BMO, Bank of Montreal. Today, Moneris remains a private company. So being a company owned by large regulated financial institutions, Moneris actually may have a tendency to move slow and have some kind of bureaucratic processes. Let's talk about that. So when you think about Moneris solutions, let me talk about the fact that here you have a processor that requires a long-term contract with early termination fee. There are few pricing disclosures, and they do have a poor reputation for customer support. What are the pros and cons here? Let's have a quick conversation about that. So the pros. With Moneris, you have a full range of hardware available for rent or purchase. The Interchange Plus pricing is available. You have extensive online knowledge base, so that's pretty good. You also have a modern POS equipment. You have mobile payments on the go. You have mobile POS software, third-party app integration, and you also have extra features and capabilities. So that's really good. So what about the cons? Now there is a 3-year standard contract that is actually pretty uniform across the board. So Moneris actually mandate that either in Canada or the US. There is a $300 early termination fee per location. You have numerous reports of poor customer support, monthly equipment fee. They require separate account with Moneris Go. There is an extra cost for certain things. You also have third-party app capabilities that actually come standard with other processor POS system and cost extra in this case. So that's something to really think about. So when you think about Moneris solution, I want you to really understand that this is actually the largest merchant services provider in Canada, serving over 350,000 to 500,000 merchants and processing 3.5 billion transactions annually. So that's huge. That's a little earlier. This is actually a joint venture between RBC and BMO. Okay. Now, while the company's large size creates advantages in when it comes to the variety of products and services it can offer, it doesn't always translate into a lower cost or better customer service for small business owners. And you see this all the time. When you have a company being in a situation of a monopoly, a quasi-monopoly, this actually doesn't translate well for consumers. Now, Moneris earns a slightly above average overall score, mainly on the strength of its product lineup and the fact that pricing is generally close to industry averages. And that makes sense because you have big banks, two big banks behind Moneris there. Okay, so Moneris is actually a decent choice for a mid-size or larger Canadian or U.S. business. If you are a U.S. business, maybe if you are a U.S. business with interest in Canada, that's the reason why you might want to go with Moneris, or vice versa. By the way, if you are a Canadian business with interest in the U.S., think about Moneris. However, you will certainly want to negotiate for the best rates and terms you can get and review your contract thoroughly before you sign up. Okay, read the fine prints. Canadian merchants don't have as many providers to choose from as their U.S. counterparts, but Moneris is it's not the only game in town. So for smaller businesses or any company looking for a more transparent sales experience, I mean, you can think about HealthSim, you can think about KIS payments as excellent choices that are available in Canada. By the way, I have reviewed HealthSim deeply, so you can really go and watch that in-depth review. Okay, but the thing is that think about Moneris as as a player that actually is kind of big in Canada because again, there are actually this is a joint venture between two of Canada's largest banks, RBC and BMO. So this is something, it really counts for something. I want to talk to you about the products here. When you think about Moneris, what kind of products does this processor have? Let's talk about that. So Moneris offers a wide range of products, including physical POS terminals. You have mobile payment products, and also online payment services. So this is actually a trifecta, but you do have other, let's say, ancillary services, okay, to really think about this year. Now, the benefit, when you think about Moneris having a wide range of products, the main benefit is that you do have access to an all-in-one solution, okay? Now, there are many other payment processors and resellers that make it easy for merchants to get all the products they need anyway. So overall, Moneris products give you all the capabilities that you as a merchant may need. However, you just got to be careful about the fact that you need to actually be locked in a contract for a long time, 3 years. Okay, there have been some complaints that there are multiple accounts you will need to have within Moneris products. For example, if you want to use their mobile product, Moneris Go, you will need a separate account for it. And the Moneris product development cycle can be seen as quite slow. This is not that different from banks and bank-owned companies. Therefore, do not expect a lot of frequent let's say a frequent iteration and evolution on their products. It's what it is, you know. So if you think about the software versus the hardware, Moneris offers an enormous number of products and services, ranging from merchant accounts to office supplies. Let me give you a few, like a quick rundown of the company's primary offerings. You have merchant accounts. So Moneris is a direct processor, meaning that it processes all transactions in-house instead of relying on a third party for this service. So for this, it means what? It means that you will always be dealing with the same company, especially when faced with let's say, an account freeze or a transaction being on hold. You have credit card terminals. You have point of sale hardware bundles, okay? And that's important. And it really gives you a lot of flexibility. So when I speak about credit card terminals, I'm speaking about Moneris Go, Moneris Go Plus. And when I speak about point of sale hardware bundles, I'm speaking about the basic bundle and also the premium bundle. And you also have a point of sale software, so something to really think about. And you also have a payment gateway in Moneris Online. Let me talk to you now about the cost. I'm still reviewing Moneris, and so this is a review for payment processing. So basically, does Moneris have good pricing for payment processing? Let's talk about that. Now, one of the most complained about characteristics of Moneris is actually their pricing. It's not very transparent, and it's very expensive. So those are two things you need to really remember if you want to go with Moneris, okay? And so the only pricing that's available on the company's website is actually for their paid pro pricing for their mobile product, okay? Anything else, you have to contact sales and really talk to someone before they actually tell you exactly how much everything how much everything you may be charged for. Now, the mobile product is priced as $19.95 to $25 per month, plus 2.65% per transaction. In the fine print, it states that fees are 2.85% plus 15 cents for card not present transactions. So, as you probably understand, the thing is that with Moneris, you have to read and read and read and read and read the fine prints. Be very careful, okay? Now, if you want any other products, you will need to talk to a salesperson to understand the fees. And Moneris fees actually you really need to dig a lot into the fine prints to really understand, okay? And reviews from customers state that Moneris has many early termination fees and locked-in contracts. So if you try to leave early, they will charge you even equipment refurbishing fees. That's crazy, but hey, listen, it is what it is. And some reviews have also pointed out that there are hidden fees for processing. And lastly, you may expect price increases every year on your merchant account. So something to really to be really think about. Okay, so the thing is that with Moneris, you do not have actually a compliance, if you will, with the code of conduct for the credit and debit card industry in Canada. I mean, this is because major provisions of the code include the following: clear information regarding fees and rates, a minimum of 90 days notice for like of any new fees for or fee increases, the ability to cancel contracts without penalty if fees rise or new fees are introduced, and new tools to promote competition, particularly the freedom to accept credit cards and from a specific network without the obligation to accept debit payments and vice versa. So Moneris actually is not really complying like pretty thoroughly there. Okay, this could be a little problematic for you if you care about those things. But overall, when you think about pricing, you do have like for e-commerce bundles, they have the business basic plan, the business unlimited plan, and the business VIP plan. Let me talk to you a little bit about the user feedback. So if you think about Moneris, I want to really explain to you the user feedback. So the thing is that user feedback is generally negative. Okay, basically, you can easily get a sense from customers by doing a Google search on Moneris review. If you view the online Google profile for Moneris, you will see a 1.5 to 1.8 out of 5-star rating. This is very low, especially when you think about the size of Moneris as a payment processor. So it's very easy to find a processor with a higher rating, whether you are in Canada or you are in the US. So the most common complaints when it comes to Moneris are hidden fees, high termination fees, and locked-in contracts, rates that get increased every single year, and long wait lines for customer service. So those are things that businesses should avoid, really. And it looks like Moneris doesn't care about those things. That's that aspect of things. Maybe their monopoly position is really just giving them like a great time, if you will. Okay, and so if you actually if you want to really go with Moneris, be very careful about the customer service and technical support. Okay, now Moneris offers 24/7 customer support by phone or through its website. So if you are just having a technical problem, there is a wide range of manuals, troubleshooting guides, installation instructions, and more available through the company's support page. And the knowledge base is very impressive and one of the better ones that we have actually seen. And you can see that Moneris wants you to use that DIY approach as opposed to talking to somebody on the phone. Okay, and you can also contact customer service via Facebook or Twitter, now called X, from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. Eastern during the work week. And this is actually a new way to provide support and can save you from having to wait on hold for a long time on the phone. Okay, this is something really this is really important. But overall, it's one of the things that you have to remember is that when you think about user feedback, non-disclosure of ETFs, early termination fees, undisclosed automatic renewal of contract, poor customer service. This is actually the gist of users saying about Moneris online and also offline. So let me talk to you about the rivals here. So when you think about Moneris, of course, Moneris is great in certain aspects, but it can improve its operations on other aspects. That's for sure. Now let me break it down for you in terms of review. Just because you are the biggest payment processor, it doesn't mean you are the best, right? As I said a little earlier, they have a monopoly position in Canada. In the US, it's a little more complicated, but it is what it is. So if you want to really, before you switch to if you are with Moneris or you want to go with Moneris, I want you to check out the competition and see actually what kind of features, capabilities, pros and cons you have. So top Moneris competitors include Square for small businesses. You have Clearly Payments for medium to large businesses. You have Chase Payment Tech for traditional enterprises, and you have HealthSim. You have Clover. You have QuickBooks. You have a lot of players. I mean, this is a very competitive field, and you have a lot of players who are constantly bringing new value to the market. Okay, and so one thing for sure, if you have any question, let us know actually in the comment section, and we'll certainly get back to you. We'll certainly explain to you based on your geography, whether you are in the States or you are in Canada, whether you should, whom you should switch to. Okay, depending upon the niche you're in, also because certain niches are more suitable for other payment processors than others. So it's one of those things where you have to ask yourself which one works for you this year, especially if you are dealing with customers on both sides of the border. If on both sides of the border, if you have customers both in the States and Canada, then you have to have a solution that works, that actually works in both geographies. So is it worth it? When you think about Moneris, okay, now Moneris actually offers an impressive lineup of products and services. It provides just about every kind of software and hardware that you would need to run either a retail or online business. Okay. However, the company's lengthy contracts and hefty early termination fees bring it down a notch. Okay. Its frequent failure to disclose essential contract terms, either verbally or on its website, lowers its score even further. So it's one of those things where you have to see what works for you. So, like so many other large processors, Moneris pricing and contract terms are geared more toward large businesses instead of small startups. So, pricing for the company's iPad-based POS system is particularly eye-popping. So, we're glad to see that it really offers equipment rentals rather than leases, but this appears to be mostly because EMV-compliant terminals cannot typically be resold in Canada. So, we still recommend buying your equipment outright whenever possible, as this will be more cost-effective in the long run. And while the company's complaint volume is surprisingly low relatively to its size, its restrictive contract terms, high rates and fees, and poor reputation in the area of customer service, prevent it from actually receiving a better overall score from us, okay? So you want to really see what works for you and what you really, what you want to focus on. Are you focusing on, let's say, customer service, or are you focusing on efficiency? So Moneris is not the right fit for smaller businesses. If you are a small business, do not go for Moneris, because Moneris is an older payment processor with a lot of big bank default traffic that comes at a very expensive subscription, which doesn't include the added cost for POS hardware and software integration options, and lacks key features like in-house customization tools and features or leeway for merchants to get out of their contracts if they're not satisfied. So when it comes to payment processors, the right fit is not always the biggest name, okay? Moneris is big, but they're not really perfect for you if you are a small business or even if you are a medium-sized business. So here's an epilogue into this conversation. I spoke to you about Moneris. I gave you the prologue, the products, the cost, the user feedback, the rivals, and whether or not this tool was worth it. Thank you so much. God bless you. I see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.